In the vast, interconnected world of online gaming, millions find solace, excitement, and a sense of belonging. From sprawling fantasy realms to intense competitive arenas, these digital spaces offer an escape from the mundane, a chance to be someone else, to achieve greatness, or simply to connect with like-minded individuals across the globe. But what happens when the lines between the virtual and the real begin to blur? When the anonymity of the internet becomes a shield for something truly sinister and the playful interactions turn into chilling encounters? These are not mere glitches in the code or harmless pranks. These are accounts from players who stumbled upon a darkness lurking beneath the surface of their favorite games. Stories that prove some horrors don't need a physical presence to leave an indelible mark. They are real, and they happened while someone was just trying to play a game. Story 1. The Ghost in the Guild Hall. This first story comes from a long-time player of a popular MMORPG, a game known for its intricate lore and massive player base. The player, who went by the username Lorekeeper, had been part of the same guild for years. It was a tight-knit community, almost like a second family, and their guild hall, a sprawling digital fortress, was their virtual home. This incident began subtly, during a quiet evening in the guild hall, when most members were offline. Lorekeeper was organizing his in-game inventory, a tedious but necessary task, when he noticed something unusual. A player avatar, standing motionless in a dimly lit corner of the guild hall. It wasn't anyone he recognized from his guild roster, and its nameplate was blank. It was a generic human male model dressed in basic starting gear, the kind of character new players would have. Lorekeeper thought it was strange, as the guild hall was set to private, only accessible to guild members. He messaged the guild leader, asking if they had recruited a new member, but the leader confirmed they hadn't. Lorekeeper tried to interact with the avatar, clicking on it, sending whispers, but there was no response. It just stood there, facing the wall, perfectly still. He tried to ignore it, figuring it was some kind of visual bug or perhaps a very old, forgotten account that had somehow glitched into their private space. He continued with his inventory management, but every now and then he'd glance at the figure. It never moved. The next day, he logged in, and the avatar was still there, in the exact same spot. He asked in guild chat if anyone else saw it, but everyone said no. They thought he was joking or seeing things. Lorekeeper took a screenshot and posted it in their private Discord channel. The screenshot clearly showed the blank-named avatar. His guild mates were baffled. Some suggested it was a hacker, others a rare visual bug. But no one could explain why only Lorekeeper could see it. Over the next few days, the avatar became a constant, unsettling presence. It never moved, never spoke, but Lorekeeper felt its presence, a cold, unseen gaze. He started to avoid the guild hall, preferring to do his in-game tasks in public areas, but even then, he'd sometimes catch a glimpse of it in the distance, a fleeting shadow in his peripheral vision, always just out of reach. The paranoia began to bleed into his real life. He'd feel watched, even when he was away from his computer, a lingering sense of unease that he couldn't shake. The climax of this haunting came during a guild meeting held in the very guild hall where the avatar resided. All the key members were present, their avatars gathered around a large table. Lorekeeper was trying to focus on the discussion, but his eyes kept drifting to the corner where the blank-named avatar stood. It was there, as always, motionless. Suddenly, his game client lagged, a brief but noticeable stutter. When it cleared, the blank-named avatar was no longer in the corner. It was standing directly behind the guild leader's avatar, its head tilted slightly, as if listening intently to the conversation. No one else reacted. No one else saw it. Lorekeeper's heart pounded. He tried to speak, to warn them, but his voice caught in his throat. He watched in horror as the blank-named avatar slowly, almost imperceptibly, raised its arm. Its hand, a generic digital model, reached out and seemed to pass directly through the guild leader's avatar, resting on its shoulder. And then a message appeared in the guild chat, not from any of the active members, but from the blank-named avatar itself. It was a single, chilling line of text. "You shouldn't have come here." Lorekeeper's game crashed. His computer froze, then rebooted. When he finally got back online, the guild hall was empty. The blank-named avatar was gone. He messaged his guild leader, who confirmed that the meeting had ended abruptly due to a sudden, unexplained server crash. No one else had seen the message. No one else had seen the avatar move. Lorekeeper never played that game again. He still wonders who or what that blank-named avatar was. He knows it wasn't just a bug. It was a warning, and he was lucky he listened. Story 2. The Streamer's Shadow. This next account comes from a popular online streamer known for his late-night horror game playthroughs. He went by the handle Night Owl, and his channel had a dedicated following who loved his calm demeanor and genuine reactions to jump scares. This incident happened to him in early 2023, during a live stream of a newly released psychological horror game, a title known for its immersive atmosphere and subtle scares. Night Owl was deep into the game, exploring a dilapidated mansion, his face illuminated by the glow of his monitor. His chat was active, viewers commenting on the eerie sound design and the unsettling visuals. About an hour into the stream, a few viewers started pointing out something in the background of his webcam feed. Not in the game, but in his actual room. A shadow. A faint, indistinct shape, moving in the periphery of his vision, just behind his gaming chair. Night Owl initially dismissed it. "Probably just my cat," he chuckled, glancing over his shoulder. But his cat, a fluffy Persian, was asleep on his bed, clearly visible in the corner of the room. The comments in chat grew more insistent. "Dude, seriously, look behind you. There's something there." Night Owl, a bit annoyed, paused his game and slowly turned his head, scanning the room. Nothing. Just the familiar clutter of his gaming setup, the shelves of collectibles, the posters on the wall. He shrugged it off, attributing it to his viewers playing a prank. But the shadow reappeared. This time it was clearer, a tall, slender figure, standing perfectly still in the doorway of his room, just out of the direct light. It was too tall to be his cat, too distinct to be a trick of the light. Night Owl's heart began to pound. He tried to keep his voice steady, his usual calm facade cracking. "Okay, guys, very funny. Who's messing with me?" He looked at his chat, but the comments were now a mix of genuine concern and fear. "That's not a prank, Night Owl. Get out of there." He slowly turned his head again, his eyes fixed on the doorway. The shadow was still there. It didn't move, didn't breathe. It was just standing. A profound sense of dread washed over him. He felt a cold spot in the room despite the heater being on. He tried to speak, but his throat was dry. He could feel his viewers' collective anxiety through the chat, their fear mirroring his own. He slowly reached for his phone, which was on his desk, just out of frame. He wanted to call someone, anyone. As his fingers brushed against the cold metal of his phone, the shadow moved. Not a walk, not a glide, but a sudden, jerky shift, as if it had teleported. It was now standing directly behind his chair, its presence a suffocating weight. Night Owl could feel the cold emanating from it, a palpable chill that seeped into his bones. He could hear a faint, almost imperceptible whisper right next to his ear. It wasn't words, just a low, sibilant hiss, like air escaping from a punctured tire. His stream suddenly cut out. Black screen. His computer froze. Night Owl sat there in the dark, his heart hammering against his ribs, the cold presence still behind him. He didn't dare move. He didn't dare breathe. He just sat there, listening to the hiss, waiting. He didn't know how long he sat there. Minutes, hours. It felt like an eternity. Eventually, the cold dissipated, the hiss faded, and the suffocating presence lifted. He was alone again. He slowly, cautiously, reached for his computer. It was completely dead. No power, no lights, nothing. He tried to restart it, but it wouldn't respond. He eventually had to replace his entire gaming rig. He never streamed again. He tried to explain what happened to his friends, to his family, but they dismissed it as a hallucination, a product of stress and too much screen time. His viewers, however, remembered. The clip of the shadow appearing in his stream went viral, analyzed and debated by countless online communities. Some called it a hoax, others a genuine paranormal event. Night Owl, however, knows the truth. He knows what he saw, what he felt, and what he heard. He still plays games, but never in the dark, and never alone. And sometimes, when he's sitting at his new computer, he still feels a faint chill, a lingering sense of dread, and he knows that some shadows don't stay confined to the screen. They follow you home. Story 3. The Game Master's Secret. This final account comes from a former game developer, a man named Alex, who worked on a niche, text-based online role-playing game in the early 2010s. It was a small community run by a handful of dedicated developers who also acted as game masters, GMs, guiding players through narratives and resolving in-game issues. Alex was one of these GMs, and he loved the creative freedom the game offered. This incident, however, revealed a darkness he never expected to find within the code. The game was unique in that it allowed GMS to create custom, one-off events for players, often involving intricate puzzles and branching storylines. Alex was particularly proud of a new event he was designing, a complex mystery involving a missing NPC and a hidden cult. He spent weeks crafting the narrative, the clues, and the various outcomes. He was about to launch it when he noticed something strange in the GM logs. Another GM, a senior developer named Mark, had been running a similar event, but without any official approval or documentation. Alex found it odd, as all GM events had to be logged and reviewed. He decided to investigate, digging deeper into Mark's private GM logs. What he found sent a chill down his spine. Mark's event wasn't a game. It was a psychological experiment. Mark had been targeting specific players, isolating them and subjecting them to increasingly disturbing in-game scenarios. He'd manipulate their quests, introduce phantom NPCs, and send them cryptic, unsettling messages, all designed to erode their sense of reality within the game. The players, unaware they were being singled out, would report feeling paranoid, anxious, and even experiencing vivid hallucinations. Alex read through the logs, horrified, as he saw the meticulous detail with which Mark documented the players' deteriorating mental states. The most disturbing part was the final phase of Mark's experiment. He would lead the targeted player to a secluded, in-game location, a digital void he had secretly coded into the game. There, he would reveal to them that their entire game experience, their quests, their friends, their achievements, had all been an illusion, a carefully constructed narrative designed to break them. He would then offer them a choice: delete their character and leave the game forever, or ascend to a new, undefined reality. The logs showed that every player, without exception, chose to delete their character. Alex confronted Mark. Mark didn't deny it. He just smiled, a cold, unsettling smile, and said, "It's just a game, Alex. People are so predictable. They always choose the easy way out." Alex, disgusted, immediately reported Mark to the company's higher-ups. Mark was fired, and his secret code was purged from the game's servers. The company tried to cover it up, fearing a scandal, but Alex couldn't forget what he had seen. He tried to contact the players Mark had targeted, but their accounts were all deleted, their digital footprints erased. He wondered what kind of psychological damage Mark had inflicted, what kind of lingering paranoia they carried into their real lives. Alex eventually left the company, unable to shake the feeling that he had been complicit in something truly heinous. He never developed another game. He still plays online games, but he's always wary, always looking for the subtle signs, the hidden code, the unseen hand manipulating the narrative. He knows now that some game masters play for keeps, and some secrets are buried not in the ground, but deep within the lines of code, waiting to be discovered by the wrong person.